Ja, idag skulle vi bara åka och hämta en bil. Killen som hade bilen sa att han hade en hel del grejer. Och att American Pickers har ingenting på honom. Jag tänkte, ja, han har väl lite grejer. Det är väl en helt vanlig kille. Vi har ju spenderat de sista 6 timmarna på att gå igenom 2 av hans förråd. Det är så sjukt mycket grejer här. Det är polislysen, det är racingbilar från 50-talet. Det är ingenting ni inte kan hitta inne. Förutom ett UFO, för det frågade jag och det hade han inte. Det finns så mycket grejer och vi har fått ett pris på att köpa allt. Det här är helt otroligt. Det här är dagens avsnitt utav CarSnipers. Tjena allesammans och välkommen till ett väldigt exalterande avsnitt av CarSnipers. Idag ska vi nämligen åka och kolla på en 1973 C10 med en 454 i den. Och en massa extra delar. Men inte bara det. Så när jag ringde till den här killen, vi gick över lite och frågade om, får vi komma och filma och sådär. Och då började han förklara för mig att hans pappa kör racing i över 60 år. Vilket var typ the early days, och det är riktigt häftigt. Och inte nog med det då. Så den här killen, han har samlat på sig delar hela livet. Hans pappa samlade på sig delar. Han har samlat på sig delar, skyltar, allt möjligt konstigt. Och han sa i princip så här när jag frågade om vi fick filma. Oh, you're like American Pickers. They ain't got nothing on me. Så, och vad betyder det då? Jo, att den här killen har sjukt mycket grejer. Han och hans pappa har alltså köpt grejer i åratal och aldrig sålt någonting. Det är nu det är dags. Han börjar bli gammal. Det är dags att sälja av allting. Och vi börjar med C10, men han har en hel del andra grejer. Han ska tydligen ha hur mycket som helst liggandes. Vi har en jäkla massa cash med oss. Så nu drar vi. American Pickers, Swedish edition. Wow! Och med oss har vi morsan.
Jajamän!
Är du redo?
Alltid redo!
Så vi körde förbi ett ställe det stod auktion på här. Och där stod det en bil också. Så vi passar på att stanna till lite på vägen. Oj. Vad har hänt här? Ja, den var ny. Jag vet inte om jag gillar det eller inte. Lite speciell. De har alltså satt ihop en SJUK med en Cadillac. Jag har inte en aning om jag gillar det eller inte.
Shit, jag ser bara mig själv.
Ser du bara dig själv?
Nej, det är ju för att det blir.
Okej. Håller du där så borde det bli bra. Jag vet inte om jag gillar det eller inte. Alltså det är ett bra jobb här. Det ser bara väldigt konstigt ut. Men du får fråga vad den kostar. Eller hur? Jag vet inte om det är coolt eller skitfult. Jag har inte bestämt mig än. Men är priset rätt? Kan affären bli rätt? Vi går och kollar. Ja, så de ska auktionera ut den på fredag. Så det är om 5 dagar, va? Ja. Så om 5 dagar ska vi vara här. Vi ska buda på han.
I got 1,000, now 1,100, now 100, now 1,300.
Yeah.
I got 1,300, now 14. I got 14, now 1,500. I got 14, you want to go 15? I got 14, now 15. Yes, 15, now 16. He's driving it out.
Sen får vi se, det kanske blir helt galet dyrt, men det vet man inte. Men det får vi se i nästa avsnitt. Nu ska vi åka upp och kolla på de andra grejerna. Ja, vi kom inte så mycket längre. Vi hittade ett till ställe som sålde massa grejer på vägen. Och de hade en båt och lite grejer. Jag vill gärna ha en båt. Så vi passade på att stanna och titta också. Och så tycker mamma det är så roligt med yardsäg.
Ja, det är skitkul.
Ja, den var bra mycket mindre än vad jag trodde den var. $850, det är inte så farligt dock. Med släp. Och en Husqvarna gräsklippare. Men det var det ingen pris på. How are you doing? Oh, it's a beautiful day, ain't it? Ja, han har lite bilar, lite vapen. Det är ju så man kan köpa och sälja vapen öppet så här i USA. Jag vet att många av er tycker det är helt galet, men här är det en vardagsgrej. Så, nej. Jag tror jag lite dyr hagelbössan, annars hade jag nog köpt den också. Alltså den här är ju rätt cool. En liten single shooter hagelbössa. Skulle vara bra att ha i bilen. Man vet ju aldrig. Den här kostar då 1600 kronor. Så det är inte så farligt. Jag ska bjuda $100 från här. Ja, vi skulle inte stanna egentligen. Men fick med oss en hagelbössa i alla fall. Så nu åker vi och köper bil. Kanske, om vi inte hittar något annat roligt på vägen. Man vet ju aldrig. Ja, då är vi här då. Mitt i gatan. Ja, då har vi tagit oss hit. Det här är ju väldigt exalterande. Den här killen, han har ju alltså samlat grejer hela sitt liv. Och han är gammal också. Plus att hans pappa har samlat på sig en massa grejer. Och han körde ju NASCAR från 50-talet liksom. Det här kan bli hur bra som helst.
Lots of stuff.
I like it. Yeah, this is my mother. She's here from Sweden. Annette. So it's a truck, huh?
Oh yeah.
What can you tell me about it?
Well, I took the springs off the hood because I didn't like people going underneath my hood.
Yep.
Because of what's underneath the hood.
Nice.
Yes.
454, right?
54 factory motor. See right here?
Yeah, it sure is. 454.
And it's also got the other code right there.
All right.
And see the springs are sitting right here.
Yeah.
I just set them there because people were wanting to mess with it under here, and I didn't want anybody messing with it.
No.
I had it sitting out at a friend of mine's house, and he was doing some work for me, and it just got to be where I couldn't trust it there anymore.
No.
So I brought it home.
Okay. Okay.
Now this piece here, I've got a brand new one of those with lights in it.
Okay.
That's sitting back in the back here. We used to have a whole bunch of these trucks, so I've got lots of extra parts. But
Okay.
that's a complete, and there's a light there. The bumper for the back is there. A bumper for the front's there. This here is bad, so I've got two new ones of these.
Okay.
So, and all of the hard stuff's been done. You know, the actuals and the floor pans have been done, and I had planned on putting a different steering wheel in. And this was the most expensive truck you could buy in 1973. The package. It's the original electric windows, air condition, all of that. All original truck.
Do you know where it came out of?
Yes, Live Oak, Florida.
Oh yeah, oh, really?
Yeah. And if you look at, I mean, that's nice condition.
Yeah.
You know, but you know it's got the nice gauges up under there. I mean, this thing it runs so beautiful. I can start it up right now.
Oh yeah.
The only thing is it's going to sound so good. It's going to make you go wow. I can crank it up. Yeah, I just got to get something with a hot battery.
Ja, det här verkar bli riktigt bra. Nu har ju köparen gjort upp affären på den här. Jag ska ta lite bilder och gå över allting bara för säkerhetsställa att allting är som han har sagt. De har en hel del grejer här. Jag vet inte riktigt vad jag hade väntat mig. Men vi ska gå runt och titta lite och se om de har något annat kul också. Men först ska vi starta den.
They changed out from the oval port heads to the rounds to ovals to make it to the higher horsepower motor. So they put the bigger heads on it and all of that. So that just, you know, it's what would have been done.
Yeah.
If you were building this in 1973, you know, and had unlimited budget, because that's just, wow. I need to get some cheater thing.
Ja, han var tvungen att ta lite mer batterigrejer där. Jag menar, det här är guld värt. Den har allt. Den har elhissar, den har 454. Det finns ju ganska mycket coolt att titta på. Men det här är någonting man inte ser varje dag. De har bytt lite trösklar och grejer. Satt in några häftiga mätare och ja. Jag menar, det är ett projekt, helt klart. Men i slutändan, köparen på den här kommer vara väldigt, väldigt nöjd. Och nu har vi skickat en massa bilder och är det så att han säger nej, då kommer vi lasta den här ändå, för den här ska med. Det kan inte gå fel när man pratar pengarna vi pratar för den här just nu. Som inte ni får veta, i och med att ni får aldrig veta vad kunderna är för bilarna. Den här också skickar han en bild på, jag vet inte vad han vill ha för den än. Men den här kommer ni få veta vad den kostar, för det vet inte ens vi och vi har ingen köpa på han, så då kan vi berätta det för. Lite sprickor i flamelacken och ja. Men alltså det verkar vara en ganska vettig bil också. Ja, det är lite här vid skuffet ändå. De har spacklat på ganska mycket som har släppt. Här var ingen spackel, det var bara massa rever i lacken. Men här har de spacklat duktigt genom åren. So what is the story on the Ford?
It was made about 30 years ago. It was built by a guy that I know, and about 3 years ago I was at his house and he says, you know, I'm thinking about selling that. And I'm like, well, I'd like to take it home with me. He goes, go ahead, take it home. So I took it home with me and I drove it home and I liked it. And then we did some trading and then I got it.
All right, what are you looking to get for that?
35.
35,000?
Yeah. It's all been, everything that you could want to do to it has been done.
Okay.
It's got a 9-inch rear end under it. It's got disc brakes all the way around. It only has about 500, maybe 1,000 miles on it since it was built.
Okay.
And it won every show it's been in.
All right. What engine is it in? Engine and trans?
350 Chevrolet small block with a 400 turbo transmission. The guy that I got it from, he paid 30 for it and then spent about 6 on it to bring it up to where it is now. It's got the electric door locks on it, so you hit the door and it automatically pops the doors. Stereo system in it, the interior. He spent $12,000 just having the interior done. So I mean, it's really sweet. Life would be so much easier if I would have had a top mount battery here, but I don't have one, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and just clamp onto these here. I taught at the University of Florida, journalism and communications. I used to run Rock 104, and I went on tour with Metallica and Faith No More and Guns N' Roses and all of those guys, and back in 1990 it was kind of a lot of fun, you know.
Och just nu väntar vi på att han ska få ihop kablarna här. I och med att han inte hade ett toppbatteri utan han hade bara dem på sidorna där. Så får han bygga om lite så vi får i alla fall höra den starta.
Well, I used to own a zoo, so.
Oh yeah?
That's nothing.
You had a zoo too?
Yeah.
What kind of animals did you have at the zoo?
We had a 33-acre facility with over 400 animals. We were the zoo that got the panthers repatriated into the state.
What's the name of the zoo?
Swanee Valley Zoo. But my partners were more interested in not being good people. I love God and I have a very specific way of living, and I don't believe in treating anyone badly or wrong. The majority of the people are looking to hurt everyone, which is a problem for me. I can't live like that. Well, I've been dead before, so I know what's on the other side.
Oh, really?
There's a whole lot more on the other side. 43 years ago, I was shot 3 times in the head at point blank range in a robbery. I've got the pictures that I can show you of when I was shot. Here, you feel little lumps on the back of my head. You're welcome to touch. But there's lumps all over the back of my head. That was 3 gunshot wounds to my head after I was beat with a baseball bat. There's 18 assailants against me. I was 22 years old at the time. This is 43 years ago. and I was honorably discharged from the United States military, and also I am a former Department of Public Service employee, Highway Patrol for the state of Arizona. I was here in Florida when I was attacked. Well, it's a long story. They got what they deserved without me being involved in it. Being your recording, it's a very true story. And it's just one of them situations where when justice is metered out properly and it was done. I didn't do it, had nothing to do with it, wasn't involved. That's all I can say.
You say your dad used to drive NASCAR?
1956, 1957. I have his driver's licenses and his driver's pens, and I can show you one of his race cars in my garage.
Oh, you have it here?
Yes. Like I said, everything I say to you I can prove. I'm too close to being dead to lie to you. Lived many, many lifetimes. I grew up at a racetrack with race cars. 1964, I remember we drove to Indianapolis, Indiana, right outside Indianapolis racetrack, the Brickyard, and we picked up a championship open cockpit race car. And the motor that was in that car is under the bench in my garage right now. I can walk you to it.
All right. Well, yeah, let's fire this up, and then I would love to see all this stuff. Wow. Vilken film det här ska bli. Jag vet inte var jag ska börja. Alltså, vi har ju gått igenom lite NASCAR, lite andra världskriget. Han har blivit skjuten 3 gånger i huvudet. Och jag bara så här, va? Och sen, så här kan det ju vara ibland. Och så tänker man, ja men det är mycket skitsnack. Men jag var ju tvungen att känna hans huvud där. Och det är hålor i huvudet. Och vi ska såklart kolla upp det här med nyhetsartiklar och se vad vi kan få tag i. Men allting han säger har han bevis på. Han ska visa oss här också. Och nu ska vi prova hela soppan från den här in i förgasaren och äntligen få igång den då. Men det var ju värt väntan. Det var mycket bra historier. Och de verkar sanna i alla fall. Så vi väntar lite. Morsan ska få vila armarna lite. Hon har startat filmen en bra stund nu. Så återkommer vi när vi startar. Ja, sist vi gjorde det här höll ju skägget på att brinna upp. Det var ju bara dammigt istället. Okej. Nu ska skägget brinna upp. Han vill inte hålla sig igång i alla fall.
Remember, this is from a dead cold start.
Yep.
I didn't even think you were real.
No? Why?
Well, in all honesty, I've had hundreds of people tell me they're coming and never, ever, ever come. In all honesty, like I said to you, you're only the second person from out of country in 20-some years to actually be real. And you know, when your buddy contacted me, I was like, you know, I don't mind selling the truck to you, but how do you plan on getting me cash money to my house?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm not going to take Air Biscuit.
Nope.
I was actually bordering on rude. Walk for a second. Let me show you.
Come on.
I got so much stuff here that it just takes somebody that's got a brain to understand the value. And I'm short. I'm short on time. So I'm looking to sell stuff and be reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not crazy on prices. You know, right here. You see on the bottom shelf down there?
Yep.
That's
the
a
heads.
triple. That's a triple hump head.
See it.
That's one of the most desirable heads you can possibly find.
Absolutely.
And there's sets of them laying down there. Not one. I mean, there's sets. This is just stuff that's in my shed. This isn't even my good garage. Got my Harley sitting out here, which that's my good bike, but
Yeah, but the Harley you're keeping, right?
yeah, that I'll drive until I'm buried.
Yeah. That's a nice bike.
But this is one of 300. It's handmade. It has everything down to a wireless hotspot on it. It's a stage 4 factory built bike. This, with my wife who's bigger than I, on the back of this, we beat a single guy on a Hayabusa. I am not kidding. This thing right here, the pistons are that big. Now, I've got a spare motor for this bike sitting in my pickup truck over there that's for sale. And so I drove it to the Harley dealer, Adamak in Jacksonville, and they checked it and they were like, well, the lifter's starting to come apart and that's what the issue is. And I'm like, I want a brand new motor, not a rebuilt motor. I want a brand new, identical what I got on this bike. And he says, we can do that. So Harley Davidson's special order. It took me 2 years to get it. And it was built by the same man who built the original motor. This is a special edition bike. Just the paint on this bike is $15,700 just for the painted surfaces. That's just painted surfaces now.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's filthy. But that's the same paint that's on my brother's Ferrari.
But what would something like this cost?
Well, when it was new, it was $98,000. In all honesty, you know, I don't have an expiration date on my foot, but I know I'm getting close, because when you start not being able to eat,
Yeah.
And you stop being able to sleep,
Yeah.
you're getting close to
Yeah,
that
you
time.
feel it. Yeah.
And so, you know, I know that I'm getting short.
Okay.
So I got a lot of stuff that I'm getting rid of, and you know, to the right person that's got the little bit of brain, you know, I've got gold.
All right.
You know,
Do you mind if we check out what else
Come
you got
on,
over here?
Walk around. I mean, you know, I've got 2 of the original light posts from Jacksonville, Florida, from the 1800s, when the city of Jacksonville burned down.
Yeah.
And there was, I believe, 13 altogether. You know, so you know, like people go, well, you must be awful rich. Well, I'm so rich in spirit. I don't think you could be more rich in spirit. I got a stack of Peterbilt parts that are stacked on top of my saw right there. Hell, I have a scale collection. But, you know, I have collections of everything. There's nothing that if it doesn't get you arrested, I collect it. Like plumbing supplies. Lots of that stuff up there is just plumbing supplies. There's just a few buildings here, but there's a lot more.
Okay.
I probably got $50,000-$60,000 worth of collectibles in this little camper shed here. You know, there's a stove in the front of that's this big by this big.
Yeah.
This tall. It's 4 burners, and it uses coal. But you know, I collect everything. You know, you see, like I got the opportunity to get these, and you know, to me, this is just like, it brings back my childhood. They're not PC today for kids, because you know, everything's got to be plastic and not hurt them. You know, but you know, I hate to say it. You know, I grew up, you know, with everything that could kill you, and I'm still here.
Is
and
this something you want to sell?
Yeah, I'd sell them. In a retail environment, they're worth about $1,500 a piece.
Yep.
That, just so you know, I mean, I'm not naive of what they're worth. I'd take $1,000 for the pair. We own a real estate company also. I don't. I make time for what I do, and this is. I'm going to tell you straight up, you're going to have to squeeze and contort to get in here. You're welcome to walk in. I'm just telling you that you got to squeeze.
Ska vi in här och kolla i guldgruvan?
I can tell you this. There's so much stuff in here that it's hanging from the ceiling.
This is awesome.
I sent pictures to American Pickers.
Yeah.
And said, if you're real, you'll want to come to my house.
Yeah.
Now, if you're bullshit, you won't.
No.
Because, you know, I won't do preset things, you know. No. If you want to come, bring your camera and be real and buy and trade, that's great. But I'm not, you know, going to come and then let you set something here and then act like you found it at my house.
So, is this the car?
Yeah, we can walk around. I've had lots of lives.
Yeah.
And so I've owned body shops. I've owned gas stations. I've done locksmith work. I've been a plumber. I've been a mechanic, welder, business managers. You can pretty much name just about anything, and I've pretty much. It's easier for me to say what I haven't done. Yeah, and lots of it is just being in the right place at the right time.
This is super cool.
Yeah. My dad built this car.
Oh yeah?
He made this car from spare parts in 1953-ish.
Yeah.
53, 54, somewhere in there. Here's the front axle for the car. The original brakes and original drum brakes that were on it. And then I've got extra axles like right here. This is for another race car totally. Car was originally built with a either a Harley motor or a Crosley. Those were the two motors that they used. Now, I have a Crosley for this.
Okay.
But the Crosley that I have for this is not a standard Crosley motor. The only part of the Crosley motor is the block.
Okay.
All the rest of it is all made out of billet metal. So we're talking about a motor that'll turn 14,000 RPMs out of a 4-cylinder motor and take this little car that weighed 600 pounds around a half-mile oval track with my dad being clocked at 160 miles an hour on the back chute in this little car. And we're talking about 8-inch wheels, buddy. It's for sale.
How much does
And I've got all the parts.
cost?
I've had a few people tell me that being, you know, he is a Nobel Peace Prize winning hero who went to war and who he is, and 40 years of his racing stuff, which all of that can all be duplicated and go to somebody that, you know, was going to do the right thing with this. But 30 years ago, they said 35 grand was the number back then. So I would just say, you know, somebody'd have to make me an offer that would rectify that. I mean, the motor's worth probably $25,000. Yeah. Just the motor, which I'm going to show you.
Okay. Okay. Let's take a look at it. You got a lot of tags here too, huh?
Yeah. Well, I've probably got, conservatively in my tag collection, I would say I probably have $25,000–$30,000 in tags.
You have a lot of tags. How much would a box like this run me?
Some of them in there are not for sale because some of them are personal. I'd have to actually go through them before I'd actually sell them because around here is the tag that was on the car as I drove away from my wedding. But see, I've been trying to find somebody motivated to help me to go through a lot of this stuff and buy a lot of it. But most people are not motivated to these. I can say this to you that I stack stuff to look like trash because I just don't want anybody to hurt something that's worth a lot of money. This little 4-cylinder engine right here, that little 4-cylinder engine is a Crosley upper block with a Waco distributor. It's a magneto. And if you can just barely see down in here, I don't know if you can see or not. You see this piece right here?
Yep.
That whole bottom is all billet. And I have the original Hillborn fuel injection, one of a kind, to go on that motor. Somebody was going to drive vintage. You can put that car together, run vintage, and blow anything away that you want to. Because that little motor will push that little car twice the speed of any of those little cars run. This here is a snap-on 50-ton press. And I've got barrel pumps here. And you know, like if you just stop at any moment and just do a scan, somewhere along here, here. This is a Vega motor right here. This blue motor with the white top on it.
Yep.
That is a 4-cylinder Chevy Vega motor. It'll fit a Chevy Astra, Vega,
a Pontiac Astra, I mean, not a Chevy, but a Pontiac Astra or a Vega, 1973 to about mid to late 70s. There's a what they call an iron mic. Got the steel sleeves, aluminum block. That stuff. Oh, here's this come off the 1964. That was a registered race car that motor came out of that I was telling you about.
Yep.
This is the oil sump tank, the dry sump tank. You know, most people, if it's a complete working rack like this rack here, I had this identical rack on my wreckers.
Yep.
And you see them bringing anywhere from $300 to $500.
Okay.
That's about the going rate on them. And with a lot of that stuff, if somebody came here and wanted to buy a load, I would sell a load of stuff. I mean, the buckets alongside of you, just the hardware. You know, you can look around here and literally just like from my zoo, this is a monkey cage. That wood furniture right there. And those were made from a buckboard wagon from the Wiregrass people who came over from Ireland through the Carolinas and come down into Florida because my ex-wife is one of the original Wiregrass people. I have everything that you can imagine here.
Well, I see something Swedish back here.
There is a explosion-proof cabinet for my body shop. Everywhere you look is everything you can imagine, from antique furniture pieces to stores that I've bought out. I mean, this is just new inventory that's stacked in. Like, how many zip ties do you need? I've got these by the tons. You come around the turn here and you'll pass a 350 4-bolt small block engine right here. Then a stand that I drove till I put it in this stand. Just step up here to do this, but just look right there. That's all starters, alternators, and generators, and that's just one pile. Behind you right here, this here is a hydraulic pump that originally was made to run a plow. I've got everything you can think of. There's a John Deere mule plow somewhere right above, right there. There's a brand new John Deere mule plow. New old stock that's not been used. This wood, if you look real closely at it, is some really, really fancy wood. This was logs that were logged in the 1600s and the 1700s in Florida swamps, and they sunk. The trees sunk to the bottom. Then these logs were brought back up in the early 1800s, planked into wood, and then put into buildings. Well, this was all one building that I took down. I took it down.
Yeah.
I took
It's
it down.
fantastic.
You like that?
Yeah.
How much is the share?
There's two of them.
It's two of them. I assume they are very expensive, right?
Yeah.
I take $50 for the pair. That's what I paid for them.
They're really nice.
Yeah, we take that. I take that too. Okay. We also have to be able to get them out of here. But
There's a lathe sitting right there. That's a 10-inch working space lathe. So if you want to build anything small,
okay.
gun parts, firing pins, barrels, that's a gunsmith tool that most people would kill to have. Right now, I take $1,000 for it, and that's a steal. $1,000, done. And in real money, it's probably worth 2.5 times that.
Okay.
Right behind you, the green tarps right there.
Yep.
Those two bags, those are Abrams tank covers, Faraday cages. I've got microscopes from a hospital, but like the cabinets on the other side of this row here.
Yep.
That's all filled with my entire body shop of binks. I've got $250,000 worth of Bell helicopter bolts. Those are all aircraft bolts that go on Bell 48 to 52 helicopters. I would love to have somebody say to me, Robert, I'll take all of the bolts from you.
Yeah.
Let's put a number on it. I like gold. I'm a jeweler also. Jewelry. I got jars of little tiny beautiful diamonds, up to like 10-point diamonds. And you know, you've probably seen it, but I'll share with you.
You have to.
And I'm of the opinion that there's never enough. That's your last resort.
Yep.
Bullets. Right now, I've got 43 bullets without reloading.
Yep.
Made in America, in Orlando. What is this? You know, when I collected up all this stuff, it wasn't just for me, because this was what I call God's storehouse. Because I've had a lot of people come here and they have found what they were searching for in their life, and they're like, I can't believe. And I'm like, thank God that it was here.
Yeah.
You know, all of this stuff I collected up, and some of it's personal to me, some of it's not. Most of it, it's just stuff.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to share and enjoy all this stuff while we're here. That gray box behind you, that's the whole oxygen tanks. If you want to make a sawmill or something like that.
Oh, okay. It's the rolling tables.
Yeah, that's for like if you.
Well, here you got another police light.
Oh yeah. I got tons of this stuff here. Like I say, you could spend literally months. You see hammers here, hammers and axes and all that kind of stuff. I've got probably 5 or 6, maybe 7,000 pieces. Cast iron skillets and stuff like that. The good stuff. The real stuff.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of this piece here. See how fine the handle is, how thin it is?
Yeah.
See how real thin, feel how light this thing is.
And that's cast iron.
Solid cast iron, or cast steel to be more exact. That mark right there, that's called a gate mark.
Okay.
When they were pouring this, it was poured in a sand mold. And this is where the pour went through.
Yeah.
So this is where the pour terminated. So, you know, that technology is pre-1880.
Yeah.
Mechanical. Not electrical, mechanical.
Yeah. What would all of this cost?
For me to walk out of here with just grabbing a couple of things, probably $1 million. Just the property is $250,000.
Yeah.
This is called a paraffin wax lamp.
Okay.
This little area down here holds paraffin wax, and it'll burn for 86 hours. You see that red thing hanging right there on the wall?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a brand new, never had fuel in it, 2-cycle drill. That is a brand new. There's more. Like this right here. Of course, all the spider eggs on it are terrible, but you know.
What do you find?
No.
But you like it?
Yeah, it was nice.
How much is that one?
$10.
$10. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
of
buy that
course.
for you. Yeah.
I have so much stuff.
I don't know. I could take it home to Sweden, but
Yes.
I
They're actually nice.
Thank
chips.
you. Thank you. Och de är tunga. Vi köpte de här. Plåt, tunga, roterar. Men de är skithäftiga här. Det är helt otroligt alltså. Han har allt. Ska gå och hjälpa honom att plocka ut lite stolar. Som ni ser, det är polislysen. Det är bultar till en helikopter från andra världskriget i de lådorna där. Gamla komradio. Bälten, alltså titta i taket. Det här är helt otroligt. Det här är det sjukaste jag sett.
I have furniture that is from the Louis period.
Oh yeah?
I've got a settee and 6 matching chairs.
Det bara fortsätter. Det bara går och går och går och kolla. Man ser inte ens slutet på det. Racebilen där, riktigt häftigt.
Here. First I'm knocking everything down.
AR-15?
Just a few.
All right.
Shit goes down. There's the full chemical suit right there. These are hybrid sheep,
Okay.
and it took 40 years to create this breed. A standard sheep takes about 2 years for them to get to breeding and all of that. My sheep, at 6 months, they're breeding. At 11 months, they have a baby. This little girl,
Yeah.
she's $1,200
That boat is a Harley Davidson.
with a title.
Really?
It is for American Machine and Foundry Company.
Yeah.
And one of the items that they made at that time was the sail fin boat. And there's 6 of these chairs. And this beautiful settee. And when we looked it up, it was $35,000 worth of furniture, and I got it laying around like it's garbage. You know, hanging the Louis, and you know, saying that to me is like telling me it's, you know, it's this. You know, I just know my ex-wife, when she did the research for me, she's like, "Do you realize that you got Louis furniture that you're throwing out there like trash?"
For sure. Vilken dag! Vilken grej! Och många timmar senare som bara skulle starta med pickuppen idag egentligen. Har nu blivit att vi har varit här hela dagen. Och det är dags att lasta upp pickuppen. För om typ 9 timmar ska vi gå upp mitt i natten och köra ner till Miami. För att kolla på 3 bilar till. Så nu lastar vi upp den här så drar vi hemåt.
And I left you.
Uppgraderat till en sån här mickhållare här nu. Wow! Vilken dag! Alltså, jag är ganska slut. Det har varit så sjukt mycket att titta på. Och alltså den här killen, han har så mycket grejer och han har allt. Allt utom ett UFO tror jag att han har. Han har jätter, han har kycklingar, han har ångmaskiner, han har... Ja, ni såg själva, och det vi har visat idag är bara en bråkdel av det han har. För hade vi visat allting som vi har tittat på, då hade den här filmen varit typ 6 timmar lång. Så ni kan ju tänka er hur mycket ni missade. Och inte nog med det, vi har ju inte grävt i de här grejerna heller. Alltså det här är ju en guldgruva, det finns ju mycket grejer som helst. 10 miljoner ska han ha för alltihop. Och många av er tänker nog, 10 miljoner? Men börjar man kolla då, racebilen, den vill han ha 400 000 för, svenska då. Och sen tittar man på huset och gården, alltså det här är en 3 miljoner gård ungefär. Så det räcker nog kanske inte. Så jag menar, snabbt så betar man av de pengarna. Och hade jag suttit på de pengarna då hade jag nog köpt allt det här, men nu gör inte jag det. Och jag har nog inte tid att gå igenom allt det här heller. Men fortsättning följer. Vi ska åka hem, vi ska äta frukost. Det är på kvällen här nu och vi har inte fått äta än. Men glöm inte subscriba, glöm inte slänga in en kommentar, gilla filmen och så ses vi i nästa avsnitt av CarSnipers. Tack så mycket.